Hello everybody and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. Today we are starting the first trial of the Monstrous Turnabout. Let us begin. You're gonna meet the new prosecutor. He was awesome. I love him. I love Blackwood. And you're gonna see Apollo's what's it called? What's it called? I forgot what it's called. Outfit. Costume. April 18th, 9:15 a.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby Number 3. You okay, Athena? You've been really antsy ever since we got here. I'm just excited! This is my first real court case after all. Yeah, a real ball of excitement she is. I know just what she needs. Athena! Eek! Didn't you ever learn about indoor and outdoor voices? I'm just trying to show you the best way to relieve your pre-trial jitters. By scaring the daylights out of me? No, I find that shouting "I'm fine" in a loud voice really relieves stress. It's part of my Chords of Steel voice workout. I must before every trial. You want me to shout? Here? That's right. Here, I'll go first, then you try. I'm Apollo Justice and I'm fine. Alright, I'm Athena Sykes. And I'm fine. I think that actually worked. I thought it might help. Always works for me. Why am I only just now realizing that that's a bow in her hair? Why am I only now realizing that? I'm dumb. I was born stupid to chat. Also, I'm also realizing that her arms are clipping into her boob. An old friend of mine from junior high and I he say it all the time. I see! A proven remedy to calm the soul. I like it. Hey, how about we finish off with a race around the courthouse? The point is to relieve stress, not get totally exhausted. What's with all the racket, you two? Yeah, he gets his normal suit now. But we'll use his other costume in the DLC case, which is the next time we play him, which I'm pretty sure, I'll have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure that's the next case, like, canonically in the timeline, so we're gonna play that next, before the actual third case. Ah, Mr. Wright! It's a little voice workout. Hey, what's with the suit? Oh, this! I was thinking about getting my attorney's badge back, that's all. That's all? That's huge news! But why now? I have a feeling I'll be needed in the courtroom again sometime soon. But we can talk about that another time. No fair. Inquiring minds want to know. But wow. I'm so used to him in his usual laid-back clothes. I wish that we got this as an actual costume for him too. Sadly, we do not. That suit makes him look like $1 million. By the way, have you heard about the prosecutor assigned to this case? Yeah, he's serving time. But before that, he was a prosecutor. He also uses psychology. That's right. I've heard the rumors about how he was back before his conviction. Using the power of suggestion, he could make even the most stalwart defendants confess. Psychology in the courtroom. Been hearing about that a lot lately. So, must be a pretty scary guy, considering he's a prison inmate and all. So they say. They also say he'll cut you down if you talk too much. Ah! I knew it was gonna be bad news. It's probably just hyperbole. At least, I hope for your sake. Wait, so is it true or not? Let's just say you should be concise and choose your words carefully. If you'd like to keep that head of yours attached to the rest of your body, that is. Yikes! Better tone down my cords of steel, too. So, are you all ready? It might be a good idea to check the court record again before stepping into the ring. Right, Mr. Wright. But I'm fine. I'll be watching from the gallery. Good luck. Thanks. Okay, let's do this! The odds of pulling this off are ridiculously low, but that's nothing new. Believe in our client. Seek the truth. That's all we can do. Hang in there, Mayor Tenma. Here comes justice! After 5 cases of Tyrion, Cuthbert kind of miss playing as Apollo. I do like Apollo. April 18th, 9:30 a.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 4. Day 1. Court is now in session. All rise. Hey, you see him there? You see him there? Court is now in session for the trial of Damien Tenma. I also don't like how this says, Day 1, even though this would be the second day. I don't know how they make that mistake 2 games in a row, because they do that in Spirit of Justice too. This is like factually the second day. It's annoying, it's annoying. Apollo Justice Defense Team Leader is ready, Your Honor. He has a backpack. I like this. I like this outfit. His casual wear. I'd know that big booming voice anywhere. As chipper as ever, eh, Mr. Justice? But who is the young lady next to you? I'm Athena Sykes, Mr. Justice's junior partner and fresh out of law school. Well now, full of beans too, eh? Excellent. Makes an old man feel young again. Now for the prosecution. I eated him. It appears the prosecution is not ready yet. Never fear, for I shall explain. It's just a minor procedural complication, Your Honor. The prosecutor for this case is being escorted from prison as we speak. Prison? Oh yes, of course. I almost forgot that he is currently serving time. Hi, Simon.
Yup, Prosecutor Blackwell's an inmate.
Why the fuck does he sound like that? Why does Fulbright sound like that?
But even a convicted murderer still got a job to do and duties to perform.
Hello, Simon. I do not like the way Fulbright sounds in that cutscene. That's terrible. Who's that with the back to us over there? That's him. I'm sure of it. Prosecutor Blackwell. Is the prosecution ready? How do you do that, actually? Because you have chains on your thing. I mean, I guess, okay, it is possible. It looked too fluid. It looked like he had too much range in his thing. Like, too much range of motion. Enough jabbering. Get on with it already. Ah! Of course, forgive me! Why are all the people related to this case so scary? Very well, Prosecutor Blackwell, your opening statement, if you please. Ah! What's the matter? Must we continue to fritter away at a time like this? It is all right here. It is all right there in the indictment. Your opening statement would be pointless. Pointless? Oh, well. Looks like the cat, or in this case, the prosecutor, has the judge's tongue.
But we need an opening statement as an overview of the case at hand.
Well then, Your Boldness. If it's so very important, why don't you do the honors?
Who? Me?
There's a term for people who whine and fuss about how they need silly, useless things. And then decide they no longer want them once it's theirs. A selfish old fool.
Ah!
Wait, was that the prosecution's opening statement? Old dotards such as you are a plague upon the young. I pity your poor grandchildren. Or is it great-grandchildren?
All these years I thought the opening statement was the prosecutor's job.
That's because it is. The prosecutor and the defense both get opening statements, Your Honor. You don't get one.
But I suppose I could give it a try. It might be a nice change of pace.
What? You actually fell for that? That must have been the power of suggestion Mr. Wright was talking about.
The opening statement, huh? Let's see here. The victim was one Rex Cuby, alderman of Nine Tails Vale.
The judge should not be doing the fucking opening statement.
And the defendant, Damien Tenma, mayor of Tenmatown, is accused of his murder.
And why, pray tell, was the mayor arrested?
His prints were on the murder weapon. Plus, he had a motive. The elimination of the biggest roadblock to the municipal merger. The caretaker and the secretary, other potential suspects, both have alibis. And his daughter, who was also in the vicinity at the time of the incident, has no motive.
So, in a nutshell,
I'd have to say the charges against the defendant are incontrovertible.
Bravo, Your Boldness. For your years of experience shine bright like your head.
Ho! Flattery will get you everywhere.
He's playing Simon Says with the judge.
Moving right along now, let's hear from our first witness for the day, Detective Fulbright. Witness, please state your name and occupation.
I am the detective assigned to this case, Bobby Fulbright. Oh, and I'll also be keeping tabs on old Blackwell here. Finally, we get Phoenix. Phoenix Wright, age 34, brilliant former defense attorney who was supposed to be in retirement. Simon Blackwell, age 28. He's only 28, wow. A prosecutor and prison inmate. He has mastered the use of psychological manipulation in courtroom battles.
I also heard you would provide protection if it ever came to that.
It would seem that I have been sorely underestimated. Wait, who's protecting who from what? Still, I truly believe anyone can turn their life around, even Blackwell. Fulbright, save your platitudes for funerals. Get on with your statement. Ha ha ha! That's the spirit! Justice must be swift and true! I see it in your eyes. There is hope for your rehabilitation and return to society. I will never give up on you! Prosecutor Blackwell doesn't seem to intimidate Detective Fulbright. Well, you know what they say, ignorance is bliss. Oh, so that's why Detective Fulbright was assigned to Blackwell. He's so oblivious!
Now, let's have your first statement, Detective Fulbright.
You got it. But first I'd like to say to the defense that justice will ultimately prevail. Yeah, my name is Justice. I will win. Thank you. Thank you for your vote of confidence. Fuck! About the murder. Alderman Cuby was murdered with a spear that had been on the wall. The fingerprints of the defendant, Damien Tenma, were found on the murder weapon. At the time, Alderman QB was asleep from a drug he unwittingly ingested. Mayor Tenma attacked his helpless victim, impaling him like a human shish kebab. But the sudden pain jolted the victim awake, and he grabbed the statue and struck back. Alderman QB had been slipped some kind of sleep-inducing drug. That's right. The accused was scared because the alderman was a former pro wrestler. So he slipped him a drug to make sure he'd be out cold and defenseless. Here's the autopsy report to prove it. QB's autopsy report added to the court record. Cause of death, stab with a spear. Estimated time of death, around 3:20 p.m. The victim had been in a drug-induced slumber. And the victim managed to attack his attacker despite being impaled by a spear. That sounds almost superhuman. Is it even possible? Well, he was a former pro wrestler after all. That spear was probably nothing more than a mosquito bite to him.
Objection!
Not so fast. Don't try to brush it all off by saying the alderman had been a pro wrestler. Do you really expect us to believe he could fight back after being skewered by a spear? Never heard of the incredible feats of a man, of which man is capable of in a pinch, have you? Like the samurai of yore, the wrestlers can battle through intense pain. It sharpens their senses. I used to talk about it with a former wrestler I met in the clink. I don't know. It still sounds a little far-fetched. Does it now? Then perhaps we should test this theory on you, with the edge of my blade. I didn't sign up for this. And so your life is spared. For now. Please let those shackles be made of titanium. I don't want to die. Ha-ha! My investigations are as thorough as they are foolproof, or my name isn't Fulbright. I vow to resign immediately if I ever make a false arrest. The accused's prints are on the weapon, and he is the only person without an alibi. Quite decisive evidence, wouldn't you agree? Your boldness. The defendant is sounding guiltier by the minute. He has the judge leaning toward a guilty verdict, and the trial's just barely begun. What's more, a curious rumor about the accused is making the rounds. They say he seeks the merger for the purpose of freeing Tenmatara from his imprisonment. Truth be told, I can think of no real reason to show interest in that backwoods burg. Perhaps he's a complete nutter and really does seek to release an imaginary demon. Either way, he is raving mad and more than capable of murdering the alderman. I'll be right back. Sorry, it's just like really fucking hot in here. But I don't want to turn on my fan. Because the fan makes it very... The fan makes noise. That mayor is a strange one, alright. I heard he went to a blood drive, but instead of donating, he tried to make a withdrawal. Order! There will be no gossiping in my court. Your boldness. Please take a gander at those charms plastered across his cranium. I hear them meant to keep him safe in possession by the demon Tenmataro. Then again... perhaps he's already under the demon's spell. Behold, the lunatic appears poised to lunge at you at any moment. Heap!
Hold it!
The rumors and quirks of Mayor Tenma have no relevance to this case. Besides, those charms on his head, they're just a fashion statement, I think.
Come to think of it, such things don't seem relevant to the case, do they?
The prosecution will refrain from dragging our client's reputation through the mud.
Oh, what a dreadfully fearsome lass we have here. Ooh, thanks for that lifeline, Athena.
Careful, Apollo! He has the judge dancing in the palm of his hand! The power of suggestion is one of the more powerful tools in Simon Blackwell's arsenal. He's trying to manipulate everyone's impressions to suit his objectives.
This guy really is bad news. In any case, it seems the victim did manage to defend himself despite being impaled. What sort of weapon did he use against his attacker?
None other than this statue right here.
It appears to be a statue of two strange creatures locked in battle.
Two yokai, to be exact. One side is the nine-tailed fox and the other, Tenma Taro. Quite interesting if you think about it. It's as though this very case were rendered in art. Fox and demon statue updated in the court record. The mayor used the weapon used to bludgeon the mayor. The mayor's blood was found on it, but no prints could be lifted.
Mr. Justice, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
About the murder. Alderman Cupid was murdered with a spear that had been on the wall.
Hold it!
So, those weapons on the wall of the Fox chamber, I presume those are real? Don't you think keeping real weapons around like that is rather dangerous? No matter what he collected, the alderman insisted it be the real deal. For instance, he had a real demon's club in his possession. Apparently one of his ancestors claimed it after defeating a demon in battle. What? That's gotta be an old wives' tale. Ha ha ha! The alderman had pure, unadulterated justice flowing in his veins. Whatever he did it right. We've lost a real champion of justice in his death. Nothing but claptrap and balderdash, if you ask me. Now stop your bleating and tell us about the weapon. Your wish is my command! The fingerprints of the defendant, Damien Tenma, were found on the murder weapon.
Hold it!
It doesn't make sense if you think about it. Prints could be easily wiped off. You do have a point there. I'd venture to say, he did not wipe off the prints before he could. He could not. Because he could not. What do you mean? Looks like he wants you to figure it out. Well, don't just stand there. Show me who's boss. I'm totally lost. So why don't you just tell me the answer already? I don't think you saw that plea for help. You feeling alright, kid? You're running a fever, perhaps? I wish trials came with a reset button.
Well, the specifics may yet come to light. Please proceed, Detective Fulbright.
At the time, Alderman Cupid was asleep from a drug he unwittingly ingested.
Hold it!
Come to think of it, a coffee cup was found on the floor. Was the sedative in his coffee? Bingo! We found traces of a sleeping agent all over the inside of the cup. And that is why he was out cold. That is until he leapt to his feet upon being impaled by the mayor. What an awful way to wake up. A rather stimulating eye-opener, if you ask me. I, too, would have risen to the attack, for to die in battle is the samurai way. Paradise awaits fallen heroes, but that hole in his stomach would make eating a challenge. Prosecutor Blackwell, please! Those morbid jokes of yours have no place in this court! says the jester in Detective Skies. Moving right along. Mayor Tenma attacks his helpless victim, impaling him like a human shish kebab. So the alderman was drugged because he was really strong. Did you see those rock-hard muscles of his? I'm surprised the spear even managed to pierce that armor-like musculature. I admit, I'm completely jealous of that righteous body of his. Ha ha! Well, he did look pretty buff, even in that suit he had on. Quite a difference when compared with a yellow belly like you. Yellow belly? Who even says that anymore?
Yeah, and the color's all wrong too. Oh, I know. How about a squishy red tomato?
I move to strike both of your comments from the record.
Mr. Justice's character is not the issue here. Now let's get back to what happened after the far more muscular alderman was impaled.
Yes, well, your average person would likely have died on the spot. But a sudden pain jolted the victim awake, and he grabbed the statue and struck back. Could he really have attacked his attacker after being impaled with that huge spear? Absolutely! After all, he was once a pro wrestler. The injustice of being drugged, then speared, was answered with a righteous counterattack. But does being a former pro wrestler make him superhuman? Absolutely! After all, he was one of the good guys, like a superhero on the side of justice. Even though he was retired, he could still don his superhero guise in times of need.
Objection!
You need to lay off the comic books, detective. We're talking about real life here. Setting aside the half-wit's flight of fancy, the fact is this. The court-ordered post-mortem concluded the victim moved after his skewering. So we found the strength somehow to attack his attacker, huh?
Detective Fulbright's testimony sounds alright, airtight. No wonder he's so confident.
No, he only thinks it's airtight. It's up to us to poke some holes in it. That part about the alderman fighting back sounds like a big hole waiting to be poked. Wait. Yeah, you.
Objection!
Did the alderman really strike the mayor? What? Why are you questioning my sense of justice? Yes. Your so-called justice needs to find itself a pair of legs to stand on. You claim the alderman struck back after the mayor put a spear through him. But the statue he supposedly used to defend himself creates a major hole in your theory.
It would appear that the defense has a counter-argument. Very well, let's hear what the defense thinks is all about the detective statue theory.
There are no fingerprints on this supposedly crucial piece of evidence. And if you look at the crime scene photo, you'll notice that the alderman isn't wearing gloves.
Yes, I believe he's quite gloveless indeed.
If he touched the statue with his bare hands, he should have left some fingerprints. Detective Fulbright, you did take that into account during your investigation, didn't you? Ah! This can't be happening! Did I arrest the wrong man? Yeah, we got Apollo's objection scene. Every defense attorney, Phoenix, Apollo, and Athena all have unique objection scenes in this game and the next. I like it.
You did it, Apollo! You knocked Detective Fulbright off his high horse!
Well, it's just 1 point in our favor.
Who do you suppose clubbed the mayor if it wasn't the alderman?
Well, if it wasn't the alderman, I mean someone else must have clubbed the mayor.
You mean there was a third party there in the Fox chamber?
Exactly. This could be the big break we've been looking for.
There does seem to be a hole in the prosecution's argument. Prosecutor Blackwell, would you care to respond to the defense's assertion?
No. The least you could do is look at me while being dismissive.
Your mind is as dull as an unhoned blade, Justice Dono.
Justice Dono? He's been watching too many samurai flicks.
It will take far more than that to cut down Simon Blackwell. A whelp such as you has no hope against my superior swordsmanship.
This is a trial, not a sword fight, Prosecutor Blackwell.
There was a perfectly good explanation for the lack of prints on the statue. You might recall that blood-stained cloth found at the scene of the crime. Well, it just so happens that the blood was the mayor's.
So, what are you getting at?
Hold your mind, boy. Why was there blood on that cloth? Solve that riddle and you shall see that the hole you thought you found is but an illusion.
Now let's see. How was that cloth used? Was it used... Maybe the alderman wrapped the statue in the cloth. In short, he wasn't touching the statue directly when he used it to strike back at the mayor. Ah!
Precisely. Bully for you, boy.
Aw, it was nothing.
Apollo, don't get him! Don't let him start manipulating you two! You just closed the hole for the prosecution!
I did? I did.
Right. That a statue wrapped in cloth would leave no fingerprints as plain as day. This also proves that there are no holes in our theory of the alderman striking back.
Oops.
Fox and Demon statue updated in the court record. The weapon used to bludgeon the mayor, wrapped in a large cloth, 2 pages.
Now do you see how dull your mind is?
The statue has traces of blood from the defendant, namely Tenma, on it. It was apparently wrapped in a large cloth on which the defendant's blood was also found. No fingerprints could be lifted from the cloth.
I'll make sure to sharpen it next time.
A particularly frightened inmate once told me that he always tenderly honed his blades before he went to work, like the samurai of yore.
Samurai? Sounds more like a homicidal maniac to me.
Actually, he was working in the prison kitchen at the time.
Wait, so the inmate was a murdering samurai prison chef?
It would seem that the victim and his killer were the only ones there, after all.
I was kinda attached to that hole. Now what?
Apollo, I just thought of something. If they didn't find anyone's fingerprint on the statue, who's to say someone other than the alderman didn't hit the mayor with it?
Why didn't I think of that? Anybody could have not left prints on it.
Then who, pray tell, struck the mayor with a statue? Please illuminate us with your wisdom, young lady.
There's only one answer. The real killer.
Prove the existence of this real killer, then. What evidence do you have?
Hold on, is that what he said?
Yeah, what evidence have you?
Oh, I'll give you evidence, all right.
Athena, are you sure about this?
To borrow your words, Apollo, I'm fine. Take a look at this. Black feathers and tracks, allegedly from a yokai, were found at the scene. I believe they're from the third party who struck the mayor with that statue.
Is the defense actually suggesting some sort of monster killed the alderman?
That's exactly what I'm suggesting.
Objection!
No, Athena. You just lost what little credibility we had left.
Ah! Sorry, guess I got carried away.
Mr. Justice, we've no time to deal with objections between members of the defense.
Sorry, Your Honor. It's just, this kid's still, well, a kid.
Ouch! You meanie! I'm reporting this to Mr. Wright!
So, is this court to believe the feathers and tracks are from a yokai, as you put it?
No, Your Honor. I believe they are a fabrication. The real killer wants us to believe some sort of monster murdered the alderman.
Interesting. And why do you suppose the killer would do that?
Why indeed?
Mr. Justice, you seem as new to this as your partner is.
Ouch. This, I'm not reporting to Mr. Wright.
Why, Fulbright? Explain to his boldness what these brats are missing. You know, who and why behind those feathers and tracks.
What? You mean you can explain all that? Ha ha ha! Our investigative prowess is without equal! I'm starting to think I chose the wrong profession.
Very well. Let's hear about these so-called yokai feathers and tracks.
Witness testimony.
Feathers and tracks. This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger. Mayor Tenma panicked when the Amazing Ninetales helped embolden the protesters. So he stoked the villagers' fears by fabricating a monster. The strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like a yokai was the killer. Those feathers and tracks stoked the villagers' fears. Absolutely! He knew exactly how to prey on their superstitious minds.
Those feathers only gave weight to the idea that the alderman was slain by a demon. The accursed demon Tenmataro, that is.
Tenma who?
Tenmataro, the legendary demon locked away in the village's forbidden chamber. From a young age, the villagers are taught to fear the great black-feathered demon, and thus they were blinded to other, more plausible explanations.
Hold on for a second. Before we start letting our imaginations run wild, isn't there someone else that could be considered a suspect?
Mr. Justice, please explain yourself.
On the day of the incident, there was a special event held at QB Manor. And as part of this event, there was someone dressed in the likeness of Tenmataro. Obviously, this person is a much more likely suspect than any legendary demon.
Objection!
Dullard, you are playing right into the killer's mind games.
What?
Listen here. The feathers and tracks were merely red herrings. The villagers believe the murder to be the work of the real Tenmataro. However, the police believe that the person in the Tenmataro suit is the killer.
Ugh!
The defendant sought to sow this confusion in order to deflect blame away from himself. However, he was knocked unconscious by the alderman, and thus our mentally deficient mayor was caught red-handed at the scene of the crime.
Objection!
Do you honestly believe Mayor Tenma would do something so stupid?
Objection!
The evidence speaks for itself.
Fulbright! Right! It was the mayor's last-ditch effort to stop the opposition before things got crazy. The Amazing Ninetales was fueling both the yokai craze and the anti-merger movement. Plus, he's one of the better-known masked wrestlers and the hometown favorite. That's why the mayor panicked and set out on the path of injustice.
But do the people of Ninetales Vale really believe a yokai is behind the crime?
Yokai sightings are an everyday event there, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
I must say, a crime that preys upon innocent, impressionable minds.
Just so. A particularly silver-tongued inmate once had the following words for me. The innocent of heart are the easiest prey.
You don't say. Was this inmate a con artist?
No. He was framed for the murder of his beloved. I actually felt sorry for the poor chap.
Wait, so he wasn't the predator, but rather the prey?
Yes, well. Now then, the defense may proceed with their cross-examination.
Feathers and tracks. This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger. Detective Fulbright, is the anti-merger movement really that strong?
Oh, absolutely! They parade around in yokai costumes shouting "Down with Mayor Tenma!"
And just the other day, they stormed Tenma City Hall, claiming it was a den of vipers.
But when the accused showed his face, the angry mob scattered like leaves upon an autumn wind. For you see, lowly yokai are no match for Tenmataro, the dark lord of their kind.
Wait, are the villagers scared of Mayor Tenma or Tenmataro? I'm confused.
I think he means Mayor Tenma. It's easy to get the wrong impression about the guy.
Detective Fulbright, why do you suppose the defendant would commit such an act?
Mayor Tenma panicked when the Amazing Ninetales helped embolden the protesters. The Amazing Ninetales. No one knows his true identity, right? That's right. And he was a lone wolf. Or in other words, he didn't belong to a wrestling federation. He appeared like a shooting star, defeating one Tenma Town wrestler after another. How many Tenma Town wrestlers are there, what? And before anyone knew it, he was champion!
Like the samurai of yore, surrounded thick with enemies, he cut them down one by one. It was a complete and utter loss of face for Tenma Town Pro Wrestling.
He was amazing! If ever there was a real superhero, it would be him! I dream of becoming a true champion of justice like him someday.
I bet Detective Fulbright would be a great pro wrestler. He could even team up with Prosecutor Blackwell.
A police detective and a prisoner in chains. You know, I think people would actually pay to see that. I know I would. Ha ha ha! So you do understand the greatness that is the Amazing Ninetales. So he stoked the villagers' fears by fabricating a monster. Did the murder and yokai evidence really stoke the villagers' fears? Absolutely! It had an immediate effect. The presumed return of the dreaded Tenmataro has them shaking in their boots.
Oh my! Is it really that bad?
That superstitious lot? It's as if Jack the Ripper had been set loose in their village. The mere thought of that demon lurking about is enough to spark a mass exodus.
I see. That's a very persuasive argument.
The mere thought of his honor buying into Simon the Psycho Slasher's words makes me want to spark my own exodus out of the courtroom right about now. So you see, there can be only one reason why anyone would plant those feathers and tracks. The strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like a yokai was the killer. But it doesn't add up. If what you say is true, why top it off with murder? What do you mean? You claim that our client planted the yokai evidence to stoke the villagers' fears. If so, then why not stop there? Why murder Alderman Cubey?
Excellent point.
It is, isn't it? So, Your Honor. Your Honor agrees there was no reason for the murder, correct?
Objection!
Perhaps the killing was on the spur of the moment.
You're saying it wasn't premeditated?
From the outset, I had no intention of paying heed to any of her babble. However, the fact is, the mayor made a startling discovery.
A startling discovery? Why don't I like the sound of that?
Alderman Kibi's secret identity.
Apollo? I think Prosecutor Blackwell has figured out the Alderman's secret identity. But even if he has, why would it be a motive for the mayor to commit murder?
This is not good.
This patch of fur was discovered at the crime scene. From the mask. It's from the mask worn by the amazing Ninetails. Therefore, we can conclude that this mask was at the crime scene.
Oh my! But why would it have been there?
The victim was a pro wrestler and a member of the anti-merger movement. Need I say more?
Well, could it really be?
Your boldness has had an epiphany, I say. Our victim, Rex Cuby, was the amazing Ninetails. And the mayor's discovery of such was his motive for murder.
No!
Order, order! What a shocking development. The motive clearer than crystal clear.
What do we do now, Apollo?
I didn't think they'd tie the Alderman's secret identity to the mayor's motive for murder. Alliteration.
At last we've reached my real point. Why did the Alderman have to forge a secret identity? Does it not pique your interest, your boldness?
I admit it does. It is odd that he had to create this other persona. Just to secretly participate in the anti-merger movement.
Very astute of you, your boldness.
Right. Now take a look at this. Blackmail letter. If you value your dearest life, you will merge Ninetails Vale with Tenma. Do not tell anyone about this threat. Oh, he's saying it. If you value your dearest's life, you will merge Ninetails Vale with Tenma. This blackmail letter was found in Alderman Cuby's pocket. What?
At present, the Alderman's wife is in the hospital. And that letter is clear evidence the mayor was blackmailing him by threatening her life.
Wait, didn't the blackmail letters sent to Mayor Tenma go missing? Right after the Alderman's murder?
You think maybe the killer took the letter from the mayor after the murder and planted it on the Alderman's into the Alderman's pocket?
It's possible, but we don't have any proof that's what happened.
Talk about being up the creek without a paddle. Blackmail letter added to the court record. A threatening letter discovered in one of Alderman Cuby's pockets. Mayor Tenma would have made a clean getaway if he just left after planting the yokai things. Do not tell anyone about this threat. If you do, consider your dearest as good as dead. Okay. But he was knocked out cold by his sudden decision to kill the amazing Ninetails.
So it was the amazing Ninetails counterattack that brought the entire crime to light.
Wait a sec. Fulbright's claiming that the mayor killed the Alderman after planting the yokai evidence. And that the mayor was knocked out cold immediately after that. Detective Fulbright, please add your previous statement to your testimony. Mayor Tenma killed the sleeping Alderman after planting the feathers and tracks. So, let me get this straight. You believe the mayor planted the yokai evidence before the murder, not after? Absolutely! And then he was knocked out cold by the Alderman's last punch. He wouldn't have had a chance to plant the evidence after that. Something's not right here. Hard to believe that a stiff, humorless man like the mayor could be behind such a stunt.
You have to do something, Apollo, before they pin it all on the mayor.
Then we're going to need to prove that Mayor Tenma didn't plant that yokai stuff.
How are we supposed to do that?
Mayor Tenma killed the sleeping alderman after planting the feathers and tracks. Flower. Obviously, it's this random ass flower. Would it just be the crime photo?
Objection!
Yes. Detective Fulbright, your sense of justice is anything but fair. What's this? You dare question my justice again? Yes, and I'm going to prove it to you. Take a look at this photo.
This is the crime scene photo. And just what does this prove?
It proves when the feathers and tracks were planted. But I already told you, they were planted before the murder. The defendant planted the yokai evidence, then was knocked out while killing his victim. But that would be impossible. If you look right here, it's clear when the feathers and tracks were left at the scene. And I'm gonna just say the tracks because they're blood. Or would it be the feathers?
Take that!
Aren't you just pointing to the yokai feathers and tracks, Mr. Justice?
Yes. See how the feathers are on top of the blood, and the tracks are made in the blood. In other words, the yokai evidence could have only resulted after the murder. Then the mayor must have planted the evidence after killing the alderman. But you said it yourself. The mayor had been knocked unconscious thereafter. There would have been no time for him to plant any evidence at all. Therefore, there must have been someone else besides the mayor and the alderman at the crime scene. Ah! There must be some mistake!
Order, order!
Where's your evidence? You can't possibly have any, can you? Ha 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 ha! Evidence? Oh, I have evidence. In fact, I have an eyewitness testimony for you. You do? But how? Was my vaunted sense of justice really just half-baked?
He's taking this really hard.
Mr. Justice, what is this testimony regarding a third party that you claim to have?
I have it right here, Your Honor. It's the sworn testimony of Mr. Tenma's daughter. The witness, Jinxie Tenma, saw a yokai in the hallway after stumbling upon the scene. It was the demon Tenma Taro. He's the source of those feathers and tracks. Will somebody please say something?
The defense will explain to the court exactly what he means.
You dare to mock this court and justice itself! You're unfit to bear your name, boy! Your boldness. It appears our defense attorney here is delirious from exhaustion.
Apollo, think of something quick before you're held in contempt of court.
What do you think I'm trying to do? Before you decide whether I should step down, please hear me out.
Very well, Mr. Justice. I'm all ears, but you had better explain yourself well. What was this yokai you were talking about?
It's all in this statement here. Jinxie Tenma asserts that she saw Tenma Taro. After she discovered the crime scene and called the police, she came around a corner in the hall. It was around here. That she saw Tenma Taro fleeing towards the foyer. The defense asserts that whoever was impersonating this monster is the one who left those feathers and tracks behind, intentionally or otherwise.
What?
How incredibly unjust! Why haven't I heard about this before?
The defense just proved there was somebody else. So the mayor wasn't killed? Why was it all set up? The prosecutor is a convicted felon after all. Apollo, the momentum has shifted in our favor.
Good. Now let's keep it that way.
Objection!
Little do you realize that though you are in the midst of a fray, your sword is broken.
My sword? I didn't know I had one to break. Are you implying there's a problem with my claim?
Consider this. If that yokai impersonator had indeed fled toward the foyer, that fool and that fop would have seen him.
Fool and fop? Oh, you mean Filch and LaBelle. Now that you mention it.
Both Phineas Filch and Florent LaBelle were in the foyer at the time, but they haven't stated that they saw a yokai, have they? Did you ever consider that yokai was but a figment of a scared little girl's imagination?
Why didn't those two see the Tenmataro impersonator pass by?
Why don't we ask them ourselves?
I was just about to say that myself. No, really, I was. If the defense would like to call Mr. Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor, to the stand. I just know he must have seen something.
I suppose we can't ignore the fact that the little girl believes she saw a monster. I trust you have no objections to Mr. Justice's request, Prosecutor Blackwell. I understand that Mr. Filch is enjoying a nap out in the lobby.
I knew that Tanuki was a rare find, but when we captured him, I didn't think he'd end up as a witness. Do with him as you will.
I'll be right back. Boom, I'm back. I commit murder. That's what I left to do, homicide.
But when we captured him...
Oh, yeah, that. Did you just say captured? No, wait. I don't want to know.
Very well then, bailiff. Please go wake Mr. Filch and escort him to the witness stand. Will the witness state his name and occupation, please?
My name's Filch, Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor. Oh, and this is for you, your lordship. Just a little something I thought you might like.
Oh my, what a fabulous pair of shoes. And your honor will do just fine, Mr. Filch.
What did he say, your lordship? It's those shoes again.
Don't they belong to Detective Fulbright?
Don't tell me Filch stole them again.
They're all yours, your honorship, sir.
What? But they seem awfully expensive.
Yep, too expensive for me, but I reckon they'd be perfect for someone like your honorship.
It's a kind gesture, but legal ethics dictate that I can't accept such gifts.
Ethics and ethics. Just take them if you want them, polishing them up real nice for you too.
I'm sorry about the shoes, Mr. Filch, but I will accept your testimony. The court would like to hear whether you saw Tenmataro in the foyer after the murder.
Guarding the foyer.
At the time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. QB asked.
I was making sure no one, fair, foul, fishy or otherwise, could get to our guest. I was still in my office keeping a good watch when the murder happened after 3 p.m. But I didn't see nothing out of the ordinary, no siree.
That yokai you keep jabbering on about was but a phantom of a little girl's dream.
So, you're telling this court you never saw anyone dressed up like Tenmataro?
Yep. Was guarding the whole time. That's the truth, the holy truth, and nothing but it than, don't fucking know, nothing butter the truth. There. And Temataro, bah, you don't really believe in all that yokai mumbo jumbo, do ya? I certainly don't.
My bracelet is...
Something the matter, Apollo?
My bracelet keeps squeezing my arms. My arm.
Really? So you think Mr. Mr. Filch has been lying to us?
I wouldn't rule it out. Now, if I could just zero in on a tell, some sort of nervous habit. What in the... What's a hawk doing in here?
Allow me to introduce my trusty cohort, Talker. He seems to have taken quite a liking to the courthouse. Made it his new home, in fact.
He doesn't live with you. You know, in jail. Who's ever heard of a courthouse bird?
Talker simply loathes trickery and fraud. And that queer power of yours seems to have offended my dear bosom buzzard.
I can't believe you used the word queer in the year of our Lord 2026.
Isn't that when this game takes place?
No, 2027, I think.
Hold on.
This isn't some sort of trick or... I won't be able to spot squat like this.
What the heck's going on around here? Run for the hills! No pets or other animals allowed in the courtroom. Somebody help!
Oh, he's merely having a bit of sport. He won't harm you, save when truly famished.
In that case, Prosecutor Blackwell, you will ensure your feathered friend is properly fed. Looks like we have to do this the old-fashioned way.
We'll be fine. I think. If there was someone dressed as Tenmataro there, Filch should have seen him. We just have to put our faith in Jinxie's statement for now.
Mr. Justice, please proceed with your cross-examination.
I think I'm gonna do this cross-examination, and then I'm gonna stop the recording. It's still gonna be one video, but I'll have to pick up the recording after. 'Cause, like, I'm tired. And these go on for a long-ass time. I wish they split up the chapters better in the 3D games. Guarding the foyer.
At the time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. QB asked.
Hold it!
Mr. Filch, why did Alderman QB have you handle guard duty?
Because he trusts me. I am the man as caretaker, after all.
So you took said guard duty seriously.
Let me tell you something about me. Yikes!
Listen here, you little tanuki. Get straight to the point and be quick about it. The court wishes to hear what you did or didn't see in the foyer, and not else.
Yes, of course, sir. Right away, sir.
Blackwell's got him completely under his thumb.
Like I said, I was gone the foyer entrance that day. I was making sure no one, fair, foul, fishy, or otherwise, could get to our guest.
Hold it!
So no one could get to him. Sounds like security was pretty tight.
That's 'cause there's always lots of sneaks and thieves around festival time.
And the solution was to entrust the manor's security to a thief? That's not even funny.
Maybe it's a matter of stopping thieves by hiring one. After all, it takes one to know one.
I don't know if it seems more like... I don't know, it seems more like letting the fox guard the henhouse to me.
So the witness testifies that he took his guard duty seriously.
Yes, sir. Your Honorship, sir. I was still in my office keeping a good watch when the murder happened after 3 p.m.
Hold it!
Did you really keep an eye on the foyer the entire time?
Poor old Filchy. Been working hard my whole life. Only to be smeared by some greenhorn in his fancy schmancy suit and silly haircut. Ah! Sorry, Mr. Blackwell, sir. Didn't mean to get off subject there.
Sheesh. Blackwell didn't even say anything.
To answer your question, yes, I kept an eye. No, both of them, in fact, on the foyer. But I didn't see nothing out of the ordinary. No siree.
Hold it!
Could you describe to the court who you would consider fishy-looking?
Someone all fidgety and shifty-like, you know, like they're about to steal something.
He just described himself.
I wonder why Mr. Filch didn't see Tenmataro.
Maybe Jinxie thinks she only saw Tenmataro. Or...
Maybe Mr. Filch is lying.
if he's lying, we might be able to spot a contradiction in his testimony. I was making sure no one could get to the guest. Not this. So, we're either gonna have to present it on this statement or the previous statement. We're gonna try this one first.
Objection!
Okay. Don't lie to the court like that, Mr. Filch.
Hey, it ain't right to bushwhack a fella like that.
Unfortunately for you, I have evidence that proves you're lying. If you look at this TV listing here, you'll see that at the time of the crime, there was a pro wrestling match scheduled. Something you'd never miss.
Eh! I didn't watch that one. No siree, I was doing my job, just like I was supposed to.
This guy doesn't know when to give up. Okay, I'm gonna end the recording here. I'm gonna finish later at another point in time because I'm hungry and I'm tired and yeah. See you all. It'll be like 2 seconds for you, but it'll be a while for me. All right. See you in a second. Hi, I'm back. I exist again. Hello. This guy just doesn't know when to give up. Mr. Filch, someone even circled the match. It was you, right?
Yipes!
Not only that, you even told me you watched it. You said, and I quote, "It was a complete disaster." So, do you admit to slacking off?
You can't trick me with your Rudy Pool lawyer talk. I'm one of them professional types, too. I can do double duty, watching TV and the foyer at the same time.
The only thing Filch can claim to be a professional of is a professional thief.
Mr. Justice, you would have this court believe the witness was slacking off.
That's correct. He claims to have been watching TV and the foyer at the same time. But that's nothing but a bald-faced lie.
Bold, you say? But I'm not the one who's lying. Perhaps you meant the witness, Mr. Justice. And in that case, let's see what evidence you can offer. You claim Mr. Filch is lying about watching TV and the foyer simultaneously. Now prove it.
I would assume it would be her statement. Oh, or just this. Please take a look at the direction the TV is facing in the diagram. Now, unless Mr. Filch has eyes where his right ear should be, I think it would be impossible to watch the foyer entrance and the TV at the same time.
Why, yes, someone watching TV there couldn't possibly see the entrance.
Exactly. And that means, Mr. Filch, you were slacking off and were not watching the foyer as you claim.
Yikes! The bag's out of the cat. I mean, the other way around.
Order, order, order! But Mr. Justice, is Mr. Filch's less than stellar work ethic relevant to the case?
It's very relevant, because while he was slacking off watching TV, there really could have been a Tenmataro impersonator in the foyer.
Objection!
What now?
Granted, this Tanuki was lax in his duties, but he still had the foyer entrance covered.
Bum, bum, bum.
Covered.
What are you talking about?
It is I, Simon Blackwell. This.
I'm not a mind reader. Ugh!
Auditory sense. His eyes may have been slacking off, but his ears were still hard at work. Right, Tanuki?
Simon. Simon.
There's a security camera right here. Use that as your evidence, bitch.
They were? I mean, yeah. Yeah, they were.
But you already admitted to slacking off. Now you say you weren't?
My eyes might be lazy, but my ears ain't. I would have heard anyone in the foyer. You see, the foyer floor and the stairway get all creaky squeaky when someone walks on it. Creak, creak, creak. Loud enough to wake the dead, I reckon.
So, you're saying that you didn't hear anybody walk by?
Yep, my ears were working full time. So who's the lion now, you no good shyster?
Lying thief calling me a shyster. This has to be the low point of my fledgling career.
Gotta hand it to you, Mr. Blackwell. Sir, you really are something else. I mean, you don't miss a thing. And them bags under your eyes, they're darker than mine.
Fair warning, Mr. Filch. Taki is particularly fond of Tanuki. Should you lie to this court again, you may suddenly find yourself on the menu.
Yipes! Please don't eat me, Mr. Darker, sir.
The witness will henceforth testify truthfully under the penalty of painful bird attacks. And with that in mind, the court requests that the witness revise his testimony accordingly.
Hold on. Hold on. Ears working overtime.
It's true. I was watching a pro wrestling match on The Office. TV. My eyes might have been slacking off, but my ears, they were working overtime. The floor there's all creaky, squeaky like. No way I would have missed someone walking by. So you see, there weren't no Tenmataro in the foyer.
Superstition is the religion of feeble minds. Understand? A simple, rational explanation is best. Forget yokai, demons, and such. We must use common sense, for lacking that our entire world would be put upside down.
Says the convict prosecutor who's totally a sign of the end times for the legal world.
Besides, if there were any yokai roaming about, I'd nab them and sell them to the zoo. I wonder whether Jinxie was seeing things.
That seems to be the general consensus. But I'm sticking to my guns.
But if we can't prove she saw Tenmataro, the mayor is sure to be convicted.
Then we'd better hope my guns fire bullets, not BBs.
The defense may cross-examine the witness.
Ears working overtime.
It's true, I was watching a pro wrestling match on the office TV.
Hold it!
You are paid for your work, aren't you? So how do you justify watching TV on the job?
But it ain't easy being me. I mean, I can't watch TV when we have visitors and there's no way to record stuff.
Sorry, am I supposed to be consoling you over your first world problems?
If those are his only problems, he should consider himself lucky.
I guess pro wrestling's serious business to Mr. Filch.
My eyes might have been slacking off, but my ears, they were working overtime.
Hold it!
You lied earlier about taking your guard duty seriously, didn't you?
Oh, that? Ain't no harm in bending the truth a little, right?
Listen to me, you little tanuki. Lie again and Taka shall feast upon that forked tongue of yours.
I love Taka.
Yipes! Sorry, just let me keep my tongue.
Is he gonna? No, he's not gonna do the thing. At least leave until we get the truth out of him in any case.
You were negligent in your duties, were you not?
Yes, sir. I was, sir, but it ain't like that. The floor there's all creaky squeaky like. No way I would have missed someone walking by.
Hold it!
So, you have pretty good ears, Mr. Filch.
As good as they come, I'd say. Ain't nothing to hear a creaky floor. Plus, that Tenmataro makes a sound when he goes by. It's like a jingle jangle.
Jingle jangle. How does he do that?
It's that staff of his. That's what jingle jangles. What's he talking about, Apollo?
Beats me, but I guess Tenmataro has a staff that makes noise.
Come to think of it, didn't Jinxie mention something like that too? She said she saw Tenmataro holding a staff-like object that made a jangly sound.
I guess that's the source of the noise then.
Well, Mr. Justice, Mr. Filch says Tenmataro jingle jangles. Would you consider that vital information?
Extremely vital. I request that it be added to his testimony.
If Tenmataro was to pass by his staff would have gone jingle jangle.
Hold it!
So, Tenmataro's staff makes a distinctive sound.
Yep, like a jingle and a jangle. Wait, Jinxie said something like that.
Okay. Wait,
Jinxie said something like that. Something about Tenmataro making a jingly sound.
I think we're missing something here, but I can't quite put a finger on it. Perhaps I should take a look at the court record again.
So you see, there were no Tenmataro in the foyer.
Please tell the court, what did Jinxie see if it was not Tenmataro?
She's always going on about seeing this yokai or dad. Just an act of imagination, I reckon. She won't even come near me because she thinks I'm some sort of tanuki monster. Can't say I blame her.
So, Mr. Filch, you chalk it up to a child's active imagination.
Yep, no Tenmataro or anyone else got in or out of QB Manor on my watch. Apollo, what could this mean? Do you think Jinxie was just seeing things?
Well, if that's the case, the details she provided were pretty impressive. But if we're to continue believing Jinxie's statement,
we'll have to uncover Filch's lie?
right, or find out why he can't tell the truth.
Okay. Where's the staff thing? This.
Objection!
Tenmataro's staff would make a jangly sound, you say? Well, I'm going to say that your story doesn't add up.
Is there something that the defense would like to share with the court?
Mr. Filch, you say that you didn't see Tenmataro on the day of the incident.
Flocka, stop that.
Well, why then did you assume that just now that Tenmataro would be holding a staff?
Huh?
You see, the Tenmataro Jinxie saw held a staff in his hands. And she described its sound just like you did, as a kind of jangly sound.
Yeah, so he was holding a staff. What's your point?
Objection!
The point is that Tenmataro doesn't use a staff. Not normally.
What are you talking about?
You see, this is the only known document depicting Tenmataro. Is there a staff in that picture, Mr. Filch?
You're right. There's no staff. Not even a cane or a walking stick. So the question is, why does the witness think Tenmataro uses a staff?
I believe the answer will overturn the prosecution's case on the most basic level. I'm just now realizing that Apollo has a little tiny little fucking what's his face, Mr. Hat, on his bag. Like it's just is a keychain, a Mr. Hat keychain, and I think that face, that button thing on his collar, or well, whatever that's called, is supposed to reference Phoenix's, and I guess also Emma's little thingy that Phoenix put on his beanie.
Well now, this is getting interesting.
Alright, Mr. Justice, it's time to show the court where you're going with this. Please tell the court why Mr. Filch believes Tenmataro carries a staff.
Mr. Filch actually saw Tenmataro right after the crime occurred. That's the only way he could possibly know about the staff.
Busted again! No, that's not. Busted again! Shit.
Bloody hell. You duplicitous little...
Yes, on that field, Blackwell. Not so fun when you're on the receiving end of the blade, is it?
I like Blackwell's damage.
Admit it, Mr. Filch. You did see Tenmataro that day, didn't you? Well,
I'm begging you. Please don't make me say it.
but clearly you did see Tenmataro. Stop stalling and testify to that fact.
No can do. No way, no how. You ain't got no idea how terrifying he can be.
He, Mr. Filch, still won't admit to seeing Tenmataro, even though everyone knows he did. The question now is, why?
Mr. Filch is scared to death.
Is that why you can't admit the truth?
Come to think of it, they say you must not gaze upon Tenmataro, but in the event that you do look, and then tell anyone what you saw, Tenmataro will claim your soul. Jinxie wouldn't admit to seeing Tenmataro after seeing the village superstitions. She said that if she told anyone that he had seen Tenmataro, he'd claim her soul.
Wait, you think Filch believes that too?
So Mr. Big Time City Slicka lawyer has heard about him. Them old village superstitions.
Well, will the defense please explain what the witness is talking about?
The people of Ninetails Vale believe some pretty strange things. And their superstitions may be the reason our witness here can't admit the truth. The truth that he really did see Tenmataro.
The darn straight, that's why. It's all right here.
Village superstitions. Do not gaze upon Tenmataro. Do not tell others if you see him. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul. There is, however, one way to save it: your immediate departure from the village. Freeing him will bring ruin upon the village.
Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul.
See, that's why us folks in Ninetails Vale still can't talk about seeing Tenmataro.
Village superstitions added to the court record. Superstitions that have been handed down generation to generation in Ninetails Vale.
That clears up one mystery. The killer took advantage of the superstitions by wearing a Tenmataro costume. They knew that way no one could talk about him, so it was as if he never existed. The defense holds that this Tenmataro impersonator is the true killer.
What?
Objection!
Superstitions, you say? What kind of a fool would actually believe such rubbish?
I don't like how they use the pursuit theme so often. It plays way too much in this game. They refuse to use Confess the Truth. And it sucks because I do like this pursuit theme.
And would that using some silly fairy tale? so easily expose the culprit. You'll need to come up with a more rational, common-sense explanation than that.
Objection!
Your common sense seems awfully narrow-minded to me, Prosecutor Blackwell.
Objection!
Try living in my world of narrow cells, mortal danger, and dark, sleepless nights. There is no lack of superstitions in the clink, but few are those who truly believe in them.
Objection!
Well, the village superstitions are real enough to the peoples of Ninetails Vale. A life or death superstition might make even you a believer.
Order, order, I say!
You fool of a Tanuki. 2 times now your lies have cost me.
Sorry. I promise not to do it again.
Oh my god.
Taka, my fine feathered friend, have at him.
Yipes, he's gonna eat me alive! And what the hell's...
He took off.
Bailiff, what are you waiting for? After him, and with the fastest men!
That's certainly not something you see every day.
Well, it would seem a new and important fact has come to light. A third party disguised as the yokai, Tenmataro, was at the scene. And now we have 2 witnesses who can attest to that fact. Any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell?
Uh-oh.
What?
Ah! Ah!
These shackles. Ugh. I'm too young to die.
Justice, Turnabout. Long has it been since I've been forced to draw my blade. You had best say your prayers.
Eek! Detective, do something!
Ha ha ha! Have no fear, Fulbright is here! When the going gets tough, the champion of justice gets going!
Objection!
Then get going already before he kills us! Oh, but I stand in awe of Simon Blackwell, for it is his sense of justice that set him free!
Objection! Objection! I'd object to Detective Fulbright's definition of justice!
Silence!
I love the silence. Silence! I'm not in the habit of cutting down unarmed cowards.
Oh, well, in that case, Prosecutor Blackwell, can I ask you to,
I think the judge forgot he's in charge here.
So, Justice Stono's assertion is this. Tenmataru's the real killer, not Mayor Tenma. According to him, there was a yokai at the scene of the crime.
Right. And that yokai, or rather, whoever was impersonating him, killed Alderman Cuby.
Silence!
Care to explain why Jinxie, being the first to discover the murder, did not see your alleged killer yokai there in the Fox Chamber?
What? He's right. She said nothing about Tenmataro being in the fox chamber.
Let me enlighten you. That little scamp heard a dying scream right before she opened the chamber door.
And your point is?
Upon opening the door, she found a freshly skewered murder victim, the alderman, and the homicidal maniac who had killed him, the mayor.
No, there must have been someone dressed up like Ah!
Then, why does that little scamp claim not to have seen a yokai in the fox chamber?
Considering her father is accused of murder, surely she would have mentioned any third party that might have been in the room.
I don't understand. Why didn't she see Tenmataro inside the fox chamber?
There is but one way to find out. Ask Jinxie Tenma whether she saw your killer yokai at the scene of the crime.
Uh-oh.
The final battle draws nigh. Only one of us will leave here alive. Long has my blade thirsted for blood. At long last it shall be sated.
Wait. This is still a trial, right?
Show me what you are truly capable of. Justice, Dono.
Very well then. Both parties no doubt need some time to regroup. So the court will take a 10-minute recess in order to... Ah!
3 minutes.
I'm sorry, but... a 3-minute recess.
Just so. Plenty of time if your destination of intent is the loo.
The loo? You mean the bathroom?
Sheesh. At least include enough time to wash our hands.
See that you take no more than 3 minutes. All latecomers will be punished.
Yes, sir. I hereby declare a 3-minute recess before the battle begins.
I declare Prosecutor Blackwell the winner of this round, as Simon says.
Doesn't bode well for us if the prosecutor is running the show, does it? April 18th, 10:40 a.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby, number 3.
He busted out of his shackles.
Yeah, what the hell was that all about? Guess they don't make shackles like they used to.
Better be careful, Apollo. You've really brought out the samurai in him. Especially after you proved there was a Tenmataro impersonator at the manor.
But what's with that guy and the whole samurai act anyway? Such fine swordsmanship. That is no mere act. Mr. Justice, it's high time I challenge this jailhouse prosecutor to a duel. No, wait, let's save the duel until after we prove your innocence. I suppose it could wait till later. Does anyone remember we're conducting a trial here? Athena, I'm gonna go wash up.
Remember what Blackwell said, Apollo. Don't be late.
April 18th, 10:43 a.m. District Court. Courtroom number 4.
Now then, I believe our next witness is Miss Jinxie Tenma, maid at Kyubi Manor. I believe we can proceed now, if the witness is ready, that is.
Hi. Narayan, leader of the 100 demons, he really does exist. Wow, that is one well-polished tray.
The witness will show her face while in court, or her testimony will be inadmissible.
Eek!
What is it, my child?
Leader of the 100 demons.
Oh, you think I'm a yokai? Well, I was once known as a judicial monster of sorts. The beast of the bar, the demon of due process, if you will.
Eek! My charm has no effect. The demon of due process? Not sure I can see that one.
Now, you little scamp.
Yes?
I trust you know why you're here.
The bags.
Bags? Oh, that tricksy tanuki. Try the noodle stand, and you'll enjoy a big bowl of tanuki tail noodles while you're at it.
Everyone's a comedian.
Oh, I'm into your bags. No one's under your eyes. You must have trouble sleeping. Here, this charm will keep Kiara away.
Azukiara? The yokai that washes Azuki beans? The only thing needing washing will be your father's neck, before I take his head clean off.
Kiara often keeps people up at night with the noise he makes washing beans. But if you stick this charm on your forehead, you won't hear him anymore.
Is that so? Well, thank you.
Looks like Prosecutor Blackwell got more than he bargained for.
They're bad enough alone, but together, these two are just plain creepy.
Your testimony, if you please, Miss Tenma. Specifically, whether or not you saw Tenma Tara when you discovered the crime scene.
Witness testimony. What Jinxie saw.
Did I see Tamatara in the fox chamber? Well, when I opened the door, I saw, yes, now I remember. Yokai, right there in that room.
So, there was a yokai at the scene of the crime.
Lots and lots of them.
Wait, more than one yokai? Did Tenmataro happen to be among them?
I don't know. I just don't know. All I know is that we were swimming in yokai. Kasha, Norukabe, Seto Daisho. They're all there.
Well, this is an unexpected turn of events. We've gone from no yokai to a flood of them.
This is ludicrous. You will have this court listen to this delusional little scamp's testimony.
Your Honor, I believe her memory is simply clouded by fear. But a quick therapy session should ease her mind. With the court's permission, of course.
Athena, that's not how therapy works. This is just not how therapy works, Athena.
What a fabulous idea! Please proceed, Miss Sykes.
You sure you know what you're doing, Athena?
She's obviously not herself. The trauma of discovering that crime scene. In fear of testifying, have her dazed and confused. A regular ball of confusion. But my analytical psychology-based approach should be able to help.
Any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell? Shall we let Miss Sykes proceed?
It makes no difference to me. Do as you will, but I doubt we shall get any viable testimony. she'd be better served by bearing witness to the sword skills I forged in a distant land.
I'll show you! Did I see them with her in the fox chamber? Huh? Can I open the door? I saw. Now I remember. Yokai right there in that room. Found something. Looks like an out of control emotion.
Athena? What exactly are we looking at here?
Oh, this? It's one of Widget's functions. Right here you can see images and emotions extracted from the witness's voice.
Whoa, you mean that little thing can do all this?
Ready to go, huh?
And here I thought it was just some kid's toy.
Unfortunately, all I'm getting is an overflow error right now. See how sad is brightly lit there at the bottom left? She's under an uncontrollable amount of distress, which is masking her other emotions. It seems the sheer terror she experienced has made her a confused mess.
So, all those yokai she thinks she saw are a product of rampant emotions?
Yes, that's right. Your fear has instilled in her hallucinations and false memories. She's seeing normal everyday objects as monsters in her mind. It's a normal form of schizophrenic hallucination brought on by emotional trauma.
No, she's not schizophrenic. This isn't schizophrenia. Okay? That's not how that works. You can't claim somebody is schizophrenic because they hallucinate. Just because they've hallucinated something. Like, schizophrenia is very specific. This was fear. This was brought on specifically by fear.
And the trauma in Jinxie's case is fear.
So she was, and still is, seeing ordinary objects as yokai.
We'll have to find the root cause of her extreme fear before I can treat it. Now let's see. Apollo, can you point out the yokai on the Wheel of Fire? She seems particularly terrified of that one. Start by tapping probe. Next, point to what's causing Jinxie's out-of-control emotion. Finally, tap probe again to try and get to the heart of the matter.
Okay, let's give this a try. Probe. Cat monster on a Wheel of Fire.
Got it!
Jinxie, what's the name for that yokai on the Wheel of Fire?
That's Akasha, the yokai that steals the bodies of the recently deceased. I bet it came to steal the Aldermans.
It's almost creepy how well that fits the actual situation.
Exactly. It's a form of hallucination where the patient can't see things for what they are. There must be something at the scene of the crime that she's mistaken for Akasha. Apollo, you need to point out what she thought was a yokai on a Wheel of Fire.
I think I know the answer now. Jinxie, that wasn't Akasha you saw. Could you have possibly mistaken this for Akasha?
Take that!
The light fixture?
This one right here. It has a flame design and is up there on the ceiling. There was never a yokai on a Wheel of Fire. The Akasha you saw was just a light fixture.
Eek! That's one memory back to normal. Nice job. Now that you've got the hang of it, it should be a cinch to point out the rest.
Jinxie, what about this white wall like monster?
That's not a carpet. It's a wall monster that blocks your way or leads you astray.
That's no yokai, Jinxie. It's a folding screen.
Eek!
And this raccoon dog isn't a tanuki monster. It's just a statue of one.
Eek!
And look, these are just coffee cups. And this right here, it's nothing more than a fox statue.
Eek! I don't know what I was thinking. You did it, Apollo! Your extreme fear is under control now! It was all just my eyes playing tricks on me. There weren't any yokai after all! See? A clear-cut statement!
That's the power of...
That's the power of my psychology and your intuition, Apollo! And just like that, there never really were any yokai in the Fox Chamber.
Right. There never really were any yokai there. So the defense is asserting the exact opposite of their original assertion.
Wait! Jinxie, what about Tenmataro?
There wasn't anyone there dressed up as Tenmataro, or any other yokai either. I remember clearly now.
You've...
Gotta
be...
joking!
Order in the court.
I think we just dug our own grave.
Allow me to push you on in. And it's the least I can do.
No!
Apollo, can I interrupt your freak out for just a minute? I'm still picking up some noise. It's an unexpected emotion.
Does that mean Jinxie hasn't remembered everything yet?
Exactly. We should be able to get something else out of her. I'll let her the new information we have and run an update. Did I see Tenmataro in the Fox Chamber? I was so scared when we entered the room. My nuts gave out and it fell to the floor. There in the Fox Chamber I saw. And we all had been dead on the table. Papa collapsed in a chair. Nobody else was there, and that includes Tenmataro.
Wait, what am I supposed to do?
Try to find an emotion that contradicts her statements.
So if I find a contradictory emotion, I should point it out.
That's right. But it's not just contradictory emotions you should look for. You should also keep an eye out for sudden changes in her emotion's intensity. Her emotions might get stronger or weaker as you move from statement to statement. It's important to compare how the same emotion changes throughout the testimony.
Contradictory emotions and changes in intensity. Okay, I'll give it a shot. The amount of fear you felt is rather low, despite your legs having given out from fright. Could something have lessened your fear?
Actually, I did experience a sudden burst of courage at that moment.
You did? Where did it come from?
Let me think. Oh, it was Mama. I suddenly felt as if she were there with me. Okay, I'll enter a sudden burst of courage. Now let's see. Ah, look! Apollo, the noise is all gone! Jinxie seems to have remembered everything now.
Yippee!
Bye-bye.
A sudden burst of courage. Now where could that have come from? Jinxie, was there something that gave you a sudden burst of courage?
Yes, there was, but, I realized I had done something naughty when I thought about it later. Any idea what could have given Jinxie that courage?
Well, there is one piece of evidence that comes to mind. I wonder if you saw something like it at the scene of the crime. Jinxie, did your sudden burst of courage have anything to do with this? Jinxie, you didn't happen to see a Ninetales flower there at the scene, did you?
Ah! The demon lawyer strikes again. I can't hide anything from you. I found a small case with a picture of a Ninetales flower on it. I liked it so much I kept it.
You what? You can't remove evidence from a crime scene.
That's right, young lady. Removing evidence is a big no-no. Now, the witness will produce that evidence this instant.
Sorry.
It does seem to be some sort of case. Oh, look, something slid out. It appears to be a key.
Might I have a look, your boldness? Ah. This is none other than the master key to Kiwi Manor.
Are you certain of this, Prosecutor Blackwell?
It matches the serial number of the key that went missing after the murder.
A master key that went missing. Why don't I like the sound of that?
Our little scamp here has stumbled upon an article of unimaginable consequence.
That's a little melodramatic, don't you think?
Heed these words, for I shall say them but once. The sole key to the fox chamber has been in this little scamp's constant possession. Ergo, she was the sole person who could use it before, during, and after the murder. Which leaves the master key as the only other key that could have opened the chamber. But this master key was found in a room that had been locked by this girl.
And your point is?
Until Jinxie Tenma opened the fox chamber with her key, the room had been locked tight from the outside world. And there was no one else in there save for the victim and his killer. I trust you have figured it out for yourself by now. A killer other than Mayor Tenma himself would be utterly inconceivable.
No!
How could this happen?
The defense's assistant will refrain from growling her frustrations.
Athena, are you alright?
I know Mayor Tenma is innocent, but there's nothing we can do. This sucks.
Sykes, Steno. Allow me to put you out of your misery.
Can I decline your offer?
No. Abandon your client and your misplaced faith in him. Let the relief of a clear head and a clean conscience come rushing in. That will make the inevitable guilty verdict far easier to accept.
Great. Now he's playing Simon Says with us. Well, he's not going to fool us with his stupid mind games. Athena, don't fall for his tricks.
Now I'm the one who's dazed and confused? I can't even think straight.
Hey, are you alright? She fell right into his trap.
Now I suggest you make a mad dash from the courtroom and into the wild blue yonder. Only by running shall your mind be cleared and your conscience cleansed.
Alright, I'll be back in 10.
Stay with me, Athena! Don't let yourself be twisted by that samurai!
Apollo?
Mr. Justice, I heard the word objection, but what is it you object to?
Huh? Oh, right. That objection was more of a reflex than anything else. Although I was hoping something would come to me while I was trying to stop Athena.
The court is waiting, Mr. Justice. Though as it stands now, I'll be forced to declare your client guilty and your legal skills suspect if this is it. Now, do you have anything that could overturn the prosecution's case?
Well, actually, I do. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine.
Apollo? You do have something more than your cords of steel, don't you?
Not really, but we'll be fine.
But...
I've got absolutely nothing, but that's never stopped me before. I have to explain how the real killer could have escaped that locked room. Because it's all over if I don't.
Apollo, this calls for a new approach. Try to think outside the box.
Or in this case, inside the box. And what a doozy that locked room is, too.
Well, Mr. Justice, do you have anything that can counter the prosecution's argument?
You bet I do. The real killer must have escaped from the locked room one way or another.
Vague conjecture shall only earn you a taste of my blade, Justice Turner.
Time to do or die. Literally.
The defense will now explain how it would be possible to escape the locked room.
You sure about this, Apollo? Can you really explain what happened?
I'm fine. We just need to think this whole escaping the locked room thing over from the beginning. So, let's see. If the killer had escaped, how could they have done so?
The choices are pretty limited. The room has a window, but... it doesn't open wide enough for anyone to get through. And there's a sheer cliff outside. As for the air vent... it's up too high, and there's nothing you could stand on to reach it.
Hold on.
And needless to say, the forbidden chamber wouldn't open no matter what we did, so that's out.
Yeah, that's why we gotta keep the solution simple. Like they say, simple is best. We need to rule out all of the absolutely impossible escape routes. Then whatever's left just might lead us to how the Fox Chamber was compromised. Your Honor, the defense proposes that the killer escaped through here. Did we just say that the air vents? Is that what I have to do? Is that what it wants me to do? I'm just gonna say air vent.
Take that!
How did the killer escape through there, Mr. Justice? Your reasoning skills seem as questionable as your proposed escape route.
I wish I could escape right now.
I'm afraid there's no escaping a penalty for your random guessing, Mr. Justice.
Could I try that one again? Okay. Trying to move. What the fuck?
Take that!
The hallway door? Well, yes, I suppose that would be the only way out.
It would appear you've already forgotten. The only available key until Jinxie Tenma came on scene was within that locked room. How would one exit the Fox Chamber and then lock it without a key?
I should have seen this coming.
Remember, Apollo, keep it simple.
Simple.
Simple. Right. I could understand if the killer had exited the room with the key, but...
Well, Mr. Justice, the prosecution has some fine Japanese steel waiting unless you explain yourself quickly.
I'm fine. I can explain myself. The reason the Fox Chamber's hallway door was locked was because, It locked on its own, I guess. That would be the most reasonable. Maybe the door closed accidentally, on its own.
Ugh!
The killer will never be identified if we attribute key moments to mere chance. Perhaps that spear just happened to fly off the wall and impale the alderman too. And perhaps that sedative just happened to make its way into his coffee. Mere chance could explain any number of things.
Right, next idea then. The reason the Fox Chamber hallway was locked was because the perp locked it from outside. What if the room was locked from the outside? In other words, the killer took the key through the hallway door and then locked. Ouch! What the fuck, man?
Consider this. The master key was found inside the tightly locked Fox Chamber. Any assertion that the key was removed from that room is a blatant contradiction of fact.
Exiting the room before locking the door would require taking the key outside. But the key was found inside the room, which does seem like a contradiction.
If only we could explain both. Like, how the key could be inside the room and be used to lock the door from the outside.
Well, let's see if the defense can respond before Prosecutor Blackwell draws his sword. How could the master key be at the crime scene despite the room being locked tight?
What if someone threw it into the room from outside? You know, something like, you go out the hallway door, lock the room, then toss the key back in through the window. That would explain how the master key could be inside the locked room.
And where would you throw it from? There's a cliff outside the Fox Chamber's window. Throwing the key in from there is an impossibility.
Oh, right.
Ah!
I wonder if the key could have been tossed in from somewhere other than the window.
Somewhere other than the window. Could the key have been tossed in through somewhere other than the window? The duct. Oh my god. It won't let me move it. Okay. Can I present anywhere?
The air vent?
Yes. The window may be out of question, but the air vent's not.
Oh, that's right! The Fox Chamber's air duct.
Leads out into the hallway.
It leads out into the hallway.
That's right. The real killer entered the air duct from the vent outside the Fox Chamber. Then dropped the key into the room through the vent outside the chamber. Vent inside the chamber. That's preposterous.
Oh, that explains how the key got in there after it was used to lock the door perfectly.
Mr. Justice, I'm afraid I'm a bit confused.
Don't worry. I'll explain it so even Your Honor can understand. First, the real killer disguised as Tenmataro murdered the alderman in the Fox Chamber. Then they fled the room through the hallway door and locked it. Next, they entered the air duct from the vent outside the hallway. Finally, the killer tossed the key into the room through the air vent in the ceiling there. All that was left to do after that was go back through the air vent and flee the manor. Well, Your Honor, could that be any clearer?
Amazing! Even I could follow that.
The judge seems rather pleased.
That explains everything. The real killer was someone dressed up like Tenmataro. And there was someone else there. Someone else other than the mayor and the alderman in that room.
Wow, that was a total turnabout. That massive forehead of his seems so much more attractive now.
Leave his forehead alone. Order, 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 I say.
Now that I've proved a possible third party, I don't see how our client could be guilty.
Silence.
A valiant effort, Justice Dono, but your final thrust missed its mark.
Huh?
Both that little scamp and the tricksy Tanuki saw the yokai after it left the room. But then what? Did that irksome yokai simply go through the four and walk right out the front door?
That's exactly what happened. This killer fled from the... Ouch!
But that is impossible. Without being spotted by the foyer security camera, that is. The electric eye here would have captured any pesky little yokai trying to escape. However, there's no sign of Tenmataro anywhere in the security footage.
What?
Save for the foyer entrance, there is no other way to flee the manor, is there?
I don't feel so good.
Wait! I believe there is one other way to escape besides the foyer entrance. There's a large window in the foyer. It's possible to escape through there without being seen by the security camera.
Hey, you're right.
Silence.
Must I point out every crucial detail to the defense? It seems you lack not only brains, but investigative prowess to boot. That is the cliffside of the manor. The only killer escaping that way would be a dead one.
No! None!
Wait, so the killer didn't escape out the foyer window?
What the heck, right?
Ha! I suppose your next proposal is the killer sprouted wings and flew off into the sunset.
that would mean the killer really was a yokai.
If only we had some sort of evidence that could point to a flying killer.
Who's saying we don't? So completely far-fetched as it might seem.
What? You're saying you can prove the killer could fly?
Apollo, what? Whoa! I thought I was the one with the cords of steel.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Your Honor.
What evidence do you have that the killer flew away?
Take a look at this special edition paper. Tenmataro, Real or Flight of Fancy. What does this article prove?
Tenmataro, a real or flight of fancy. What does this article prove, Mr. Justice?
The photo in that article was taken shortly after the murder. Maybe the yokai in that photo is the killer shortly after they fled out of the window.
Mr. Justice, you're not seriously suggesting...
Oh, I'm serious. I mean, it all adds up. The killer disguised as Tenmataro flew away. You know, by some way or another.
Silence!
It is your brain that has flown the coop. That image is not but trick photography or some other form of artifice.
Okay, then how about the Tenmataro figure Mr. Filch saw? It just vanished into thin air.
No, there's a rational, common-sense explanation for that. That infernal yokai our Trixie Tanuki witnessed never reached the entrance. He, or should I say she, turned back before the camera's electric eye.
She? I don't like where this is going one bit.
Now, the fact that we know the yokai had come from the Fox chamber, means that it was likely either Mayor Damien Tenma or his daughter Jinxie Tenma. However, we know that Mayor Tenma was already unconscious at that time.
Not good. Not good at all.
Do you understand the gravity of the situation now, Justice Turner? The falsified yokai remains. And the yokai of and the appearance of Tenmataro were the work of one individual. And that individual is none other than Jinxie Tenma.
No!
Order! The defense will stop competing for the greatest freakout ever.
The scamp was, no doubt, simply trying to protect her father. And it's no wonder that her superstitious mind conjured up this mad masquerade.
Prosecutor Blackwell's assertion makes perfect sense to me. It's far more convincing than saying the killer escaped by flying out the window.
Did you truly believe this could end any other way?
Did we fall right into his trap?
What do we do now, Apollo?
Our case no longer stands without a real yokai. If only we had one.
Bailiff, Caesar, it is time I interrogated her as the samurai of your wood.
Mayor Tenma?
This farce is over. How does it feel seeing your own daughter accused of a cover-up most foul?
Tenmataro's true identity is...
Now, Mr. Mayor. It would be futile at this point to claim you were the yokai. After all, you had been knocked out cold by a blow to the skull. Slipping into a yokai costume and roaming about the manor would be all but impossible. Consider this well. As it stands, your daughter will be arrested for obstruction of justice. But if you confess, the prosecution would be willing to overlook her little yokai farce.
Confess! The defendant intends to confess!
Wait!
Apollo! Blackwell's up to his no-good... Prosecutor Blackwell's up to his mind games again!
Mayor Tenma, no, don't fall for his twisted words. If you're sent away for murder, Jinxie will be left all alone.
The real killer is...
The real killer is...
Mayor Tenma's going to confess unless we do something!
But I can't prove how the real killer could have flown away.
Look upon me in despair, for ripe is the time for my return.
Uh-oh. I should watch what I wish for.
Foolish mortals, I am Tenmataro, the yokai you seek.
Mayor Tenma.
Silence. I am Tenmataro, freed from the bonds binding me to the Forbidden Chamber. Behold, the return of the Demon King.
What the...
Demon King?
Well then, I think it's time for me to take a vacation! The witness will, he will explain himself. Are you saying you're Tenmataro, the yokai we've been chasing this whole time?
Indeed, it is I, Tenmataro, the one whom you seek, come to reveal the truth. This child is Tenmataro, you say? Ha! What nonsense!
So, Mayor Tenma is a yokai now.
Ka! His body is now mine.
So you're saying that Mayor Tenma is being possessed by you? And that the yokai that Jinxie Tenma and Phineas Filch saw? And the one captured in the newspaper photo? Those were all you?
The accursed power of those rewarding charms prevents me from revealing my true form. Your boldness. Can this not be interpreted as a confession, as an admission of guilt?
Well, the confession by yokai would be quite unprecedented.
Be that as it may, the defense's case has been overturned.
Huh? What?
You claim the yokai that little scamp saw was some third party. The true killer. The one who escaped from the locked fox chamber. But it was the accused all along. Ironic, is it not? Your yokai turned out to be real in a manner of speaking. For the alderman's killer is none other than Mayor Tenma, and the yokai at the scene. That too was Mayor Tenma, or should I say, our dear Tenma Taro. The pieces have all fallen into place.
How so, Prosecutor Blackwell?
It seems I must spell it out for you. Mayor Tenma killed the alderman in the fox chamber, which was locked at the time. He then removed the warding charms from the forbidden chamber's door, but then fell unconscious from the blow the alderman had delivered to his head. That's when his daughter, Jinxie Tenma, stumbled on the scene of the crime. The little scamp fled in terror, whereupon the spirit of Tenma Taro, freed at last from the charm's warding effect, took possession of the mayor. The newly freed Tenma Taro then fled from the fox chamber. So you see, the yokai Jinxie Tenma saw was her father, possessed by Tenma Taro.
Objection!
When we arrived on scene, the mayor was found unconscious. How's that possible if he was supposed to have flown out the foyer window?
Then what? Do you mean to say the maid of Kyubi Manor, Jinxie Tenma, was Tenma Taro?
Ow.
Oh.
Hold it. Caw, caw, caw! That, too, is easily explained. Flew about for a time, did I? But presently tired, I made for the forbidden chamber. Alas, exhaustion took me unawares. In the fox chamber, and I knew no more. It would seem the pieces are still in place.
Is Blackwell up to his tricks again?
I don't know what to say. Is the defendant real live?
Man, so the rumor about Mayor Tenma is true? I knew yokai were real. You mean he really did kill the alderman just so he could release Tenma Taro?
Order, order!
Now he's got everyone in the courtroom believing in yokai.
It's Simon Says on steroids. He wants to convict our client any way he can, even if it means blaming a yokai.
The proverbial ducks are all in a row. You should now have no qualms about finding the accused guilt. Your boldness.
This is one of the most bizarre cases in my entire career. Otherworldly, in fact. Can yokai even be prosecuted under our legal system?
Your Honor, you handled a case where proof of ghosts and spirit mediums were undeniable, Your Honor.
Objection!
Mayor Tenma is just pretending to be Tenmataro to protect his daughter. Plus, I already proved how a third party could have escaped from the locked room. A verdict at this point would be premature.
Since both sides have raised valid points, I have no choice but to.
Silence!
This is the dark age of law where defense attorneys are not to be trusted. This is but a ploy to gain time for them to fabricate evidence. How will I sleep tonight? Knowing you will not let the sun rise on the mayor's day of reckoning, Justice Dono.
Objection!
You're literally a fucking murderer. You're a convicted murderer. What the fuck? I won't fabricate any evidence.
Silence!
Then prove it by joining me. A night in the clink will ensure you will not succumb to temptation.
How about I just promise not to succumb to anything?
We have both evidence and a confession. The killer is this yokai before us. It is beyond dispute. A guilty verdict is all but...
What's with him? What's wrong with him? Prosecutor Blackwell, we've had enough of your hijinks. The foundation of justice is fair play, and you are in serious violation of that.
What in the devil was that? Fulbright, have you tampered with my shackles in some manner?
Ha 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 ha! It seems you found that quite shocking. It's my special jolt of justice device. Each press is a shocking reminder to behave.
You shall pay for this.
Simon Blackwell. That seems cruel and unusual. Fulbright. I think you should be arrested. It seems like a cruel and unusual punishment. Your Honor, you need not fear now. I believe Prosecutor Black will remain on his best behavior. A bit late with the reassurances, aren't we, Detective?
Well, in that case, this concludes today's deliberations. The prosecution and defense will use this opportunity to further their investigations. This court is adjourned. To be continued.
Yeah, I think either after Fulbright or after, what's his face? The Tanuki. Filch's testimony. They should have put a, one of these. A to be continued. Because this is entirely too long. Anyways, I will see you all next time when we continue the investigation and not forge evidence, Prosecutor Blackwell. Bye-bye!